Hello everyone. Now we are going to talk about the second part of chemical reaction lesson, which is talking about chemical formula. In this lesson we're going to learn how to write the chemical formula step by step, and what is the meaning of the chemical formula. To understand the meaning or the definition of a chemical formula, look at this example. Here you have an example which is H2O, which is water. H2O here, we wrote water. Instead of writing water, we wrote H instead of hydrogen, the component of water, hydrogen and oxygen. We wrote H, hydrogen, and O, which is oxygen. Okay. Also, you can see here in this these symbols, you have here a number. This number here represents a number of hydrogen atoms. So we have H2O, the number of hydrogen atoms. You have here 2 hydrogen atoms bonded to 1 oxygen atom. By writing writing water by using symbols instead of names, and writing number of atoms for each element, this one is called what? A chemical formula. So the definition of the chemical formula uses chemical symbols and numbers to represent a given substance. Also, in a chemical symbol, in a chemical formula, it tells you what elements make up a substance. Now here the number that is written below to the right for each element you have here number 2 is called a subscript, represent number of hydrogen atoms. What about oxygen? Because there is no number here, it means only 1 oxygen atom. Okay. Now we are going to learn how to write the chemical formula. To write the chemical formula, to understand how to write it, you will find on the portal worksheet number 3. It has all the steps from A to Z how to write the chemical formula, and I'll explain now by giving an example how to write the chemical formula. We will start together by giving an example. This example is for lithium fluoride. How to write the chemical formula of lithium fluoride. In this lesson we will learn how to write the chemical formula for ionic compounds. As you know, ionic compounds, metals are reacted with non-metals. One of them gain, so the metal will lose electrons, the non-metal gain these electrons. How to write the chemical formula for lithium fluoride first. To write it, you have to follow these steps. First, you have to go back to the periodic table. As we learned before, the periodic table, we wrote the chart for each group in the periodic table when they make an ionic compound. For group number 1, as if you remember in a previous lesson, because they have only 1 valence electron, so they lose only 1 electron to be stable, so their charge is +1. For group 2, +2. For example, for group 17, their valence electron 7, so they need only 1 electron to be stable, so their charge is -1. So the first step to write the chemical formula, first for lithium fluoride, first you have to write the chemical symbol. Okay? For the chemical symbol of lithium is Li. Okay? The chemical symbol of fluorine is F. So this is the first step. What is the second step? To know how many atoms of lithium bonded to how many atoms of fluorine, first you have to write what is the charge for each one of them. For lithium is located in group number 1, so after it loses 1 electron, its charge is +1. For fluorine in group 7, because they gain only 1 electron, their charge is -1. Okay? How to know the ratio? How many lithium atoms bonded to how many fluorine atoms? We wrote only the charge after they make the chemical reaction. By doing method is called criss-cross method. This criss-cross method, the charge of lithium, we will put it down as number to the below to the right of a fluorine as subscript for fluorine. So by doing like this, positive 1, don't try the charge, just try the number, only 1 fluorine. So now the charge of lithium represents how many fluorine atoms? What about fluorine? The charge of fluorine represents number of lithium atoms. So at the end, the chemical formula of lithium fluoride after we make crisscross and removing the charge. Number 1, actually we don't write it. If you don't have numbers, it means number 1. Just here, just to explain for you how did you write it. So at the end, the chemical formula for lithium fluoride is LiF. Okay, I'll give you another example. So here, as you see at the end, we didn't write the charge at the top. I didn't write because they cancel each other at the end. And here I didn't write any numbers here down because they are 1. So these charges cancel each other. So only 1 lithium atom bonded to 1 fluorine atom. I'll give you another example to understand. The other example is magnesium chloride. Go back to the periodic table. From the periodic table, what is the symbol of magnesium? Which is Mg. Is located where? In group 2. What is the charge of it? Is positive 2. What about chlorine? In group 7. What is the charge of it? Is negative 1. So the first step here, I'm going to write the symbol of magnesium chlorine. The symbol of magnesium Mg. Okay, chlorine is Cl. Magnesium chloride MgCl. Now I want to know the ratio for each atom, for each element. Magnesium from the periodic table in group 2, so its charge is how much? Is positive 2, which means it will lose 2 electrons to be stable. Okay. What about chlorine at the top? It's in group 7. It has 7 valence electron. It needs only 1 electron, so it will gain only 1 electron. So its charge is negative 1. Okay. Now the second step by doing crisscross method. Here positive 2, so I have to write down below to the right of chlorine. Here I have to write 2, okay, without writing the charge. And so the charge of magnesium represents how many chlorine atoms. So this subscript here is from the charge of magnesium. And for magnesium here, negative 1, I'll write it here without writing the charge. So at the end, Mg is the symbol, okay? Because here the charge of chlorine is negative 1. When you write it down here below to the right of magnesium 1, we don't write number 1, so without writing any number. Then the next one is Cl. And how many chlorine atoms? There are 2. We knew that from the charge of magnesium. So here is 2. So is at the end it's what? MgCl2. Here, as you know, the ions, they will cancel each other. 1 magnesium atom lose 2 electrons to give it to 2 chlorine atoms. Each one of them took how many electron? Only 1 electron. To practice how to write the chemical formula, just check the portal. You have worksheet number 3. For questions or more information, you can send me a question anytime. Thank you for listening.